This is Tom Myers, Superintendent, Bellevue Community School District in Bellevue, Iowa, coming to you with this week's Believe in the Blue update. This week it's a review of the board meeting from last night, the comment highlights, a couple things before we get back to that. March 16th, next Monday, is the Pops concert for our 6 through 12 music students, band and choir. I encourage you to come out to that at 6:30. Then also on March 19th next week, next Thursday, is the PK open house for 3 and 4-year-olds. And then the following week, March 26th, is the kindergarten open house from 6:30 to 7:30. So getting to the board meeting and some things that happened there, some highlights there. We did have a couple resignations. Katie Heilman, a 5th grade teacher, has resigned to follow her husband to Des Moines for a position. And then Julie Shekel, a long-time food service employee, has also resigned, is retiring. So thanks to both of them for their efforts in the district and everything like that. So it has been appreciated greatly by the board and by myself. For our comic curriculum, we had a presentation about academic support services for students and other options for students. Mr. Raker, the middle school, high school principal, talked about Comet Time, that time where students can go to teachers for assistance or where teachers can request students to come to their room for assistance during the school day. It's a 25-minute time during the day, each and every day, except early dismissal days. And then he also talked about some academic services with Mr. Kozel and just helping students through some work that way and assisting students as a whole. Then we also talked about 0 and 9th block. 0 and 9th block is before and after school time, not only for some time based on some discipline measures, but also for academic tutoring, support, those services for students to help them succeed in school as well. And any student is welcome to stay there any night. It's also amazing during a typical morning when I get to school or as I walk back out of my office. I usually get here about 6:45. We have all kinds of students here for PE in the morning, obviously about 6:15 in the morning, but then we have other students being dropped off, coming in, sitting at tables by 7 o'clock, 7:15. So it's nice to see our students working here and getting to school at the same time. So Mrs. Hartung Schrader, the elementary principal, talked about the CAPS program and all the different things we offer there. Yes, there's homework help, but there's so much more. There's martial arts and bowling, readers theater, Jackson County Conservation Office comes to help out, Spanish, mindfulness, STEM activities, all kinds of things like that, which are very useful for our students and help them feel engaged and get that ownership within the school itself. The next thing we talk about is Comet finance information. We set a public hearing for the budget for next board meeting on April 13th. And basically, our tax rate next year has been proposed to be at about 10.95367. Averages around the area for taxes range from 11 cents all the way up to 14, 15 cents. The average is over 12 that way, so we are far below the average tax rate for our district that way. Once again, we have a public hearing on that on April 13th. Second thing, or the next thing we talked about, there's a school calendar. We'll have a hearing on that next month also on April 13th. First day of school next year will be Monday, August 24th. Remember, the first day we can start school in the state of Iowa is on August 23rd. That is a Sunday this year, so that's why it's the 24th. The last day will be Wednesday, May 26th. We have to have 1,080 hours of school for our students in a school year. The schedule is planned for 1,146, which gives us some flexibility with late starts and some no school days, possibly, and not making up some of those if it would come to that for students that way. Also, we're ending the first semester for our high school students prior to our winter break that way, so just so you're aware. Last day of school we talked about for the school year this year is right now going to be Thursday, May 28th. We did agree that we would not go longer than Friday, May 29th if there is another day. So just so you're aware of that, we have our required hours in unless something drastic would happen in that way. But I want you to be aware. Then we talk about the Bellevue Elementary facilities and talk about a new building that way. We've had that conversation before. The future of a new building, looking at cost estimates, and we also look at site layouts that way. It doesn't need to be a separate building where we proposed before. Do we really need to look more at renovation of the current elementary in the middle of town, or do we need to look at attaching a building to our current middle school, high school campus? All those things were brought up. We'll have a work session on March 30th, but we will have some community meetings in the future in the next few months to get the public's input on what route should our district take for the future. We've talked about some different things, and we will share some of those as well, but want to get more input, and the community's input is the most important input that we can gather. Also approved some capital improvement projects that way for the summer. These are all on the comment highlights on the website. That way I put it on social media where they're at. But just go to the superintendent's page under district and you'll see the comment highlights there. We're improving our camera system at the middle school and high school building. Redoing some ceiling tile and lights, some carpeting at the elementary. We're going to redo the main gym floor that way, do some striping and highlighting in the west gym. We talk about Chromebooks, talk about bus in the future, all those kind of things that way, just to be aware. Those are all listed, and a brief explanation of each of those is also listed. The board also discussed changing graduation time in the future, not for the 2020 school year. If you're a parent out there and you got something reserved already, have no fear. It's going to be on Saturday, May 23rd at 8 o'clock. Traditionally, that's been the time. We took a survey last year and had a conversation in the last few years about what needs to happen in the future with graduation. What we're looking at doing based on survey results is keeping it on a Saturday yet, but moving that start time to 4 o'clock. One thing that happens quite often are graduations on the same time as state track. We are actually going to move it back a week from state track and have it at 4 o'clock. So the graduation for the 2021 school year will be May 29th and will be at 4 o'clock that day. So that's something new, something different, but I want to let everyone be aware of that way. That's not changing anything for this year. If it does not work out well, we'll make another change if we need to that way. Which, talking about change, we kind of talk about that in comment reading and reflection, how we need to change how we teach students, how we need to be innovators. I shared an excerpt from a book from Susie Boss called Bringing Innovation to School, empowering students to thrive in a changing world. Had about 3 pages, seeing educators as innovators and what we need to do, and the board really talked about how we need to be innovating and how we need to keep doing that, both our teachers and our students at the same time. Some information items to share there. Graduation rates. This year's graduation rate was 98.33%. Not that 100% that we strive for. It is well above the state average of 91.6%. Our average over the last 5 years has been 96.88%. Dropout rate is also low, and that's a good thing to have low. It's 0.57%. The state average is 2.7%. We want to get that to 0% dropout and 100% graduation. We have had 100% graduation over the list of about 15 years. We've had 100% graduation several times, and that's always what we are striving for at the same time. So just so you're aware of that. Some other stuff here. Student activities. Want to highlight a few student activities and some honors that our students gained. I'm not going to go through what those honors were, but just the activity or the event that they were involved in. First in basketball, Lindsay Banowitz, Maddie Schmidt, Teresa Paulson, Mariah Hinkey, Paxton Felderman, and Colby Severning all received conference recognition, and wrestling conference recognition went to Taekwon Strouder, Luke Giesman, and Zach Rader. Bowling, River Schieffer. Large group speech state qualifiers were Jameson Spahn, Allison Eggers, and Jana Christ. And then also Brady Grable and Jacob Bakey. And then individual events state speech qualifiers were Jameson Spahn, Sally Paulson, Lisa Dixon, Allison Eggers, and Allison Wright. Congratulations for your efforts and all that you've been doing. We have parent-teachers conferences coming up this week. As you know, that is Wednesday and Thursday. Hope to see you there. At the same time as that, on Wednesday, the incoming freshmen and incoming sophomores at 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock respectively can sit down with their parents and make some schedules up for the following school year. We want to get parents' involvement more and more in that. This is just another way of doing that. On Thursday, we'll have the juniors and seniors for next year with their parents coming in to look at classes as well and answering questions. And then we also talk about student learning experience and the climate and culture of the school, looking at doing a survey on that and see how we've improved. And then comments from building principals and superintendent and board members. Big thing we talked about there was just as we head into, we're obviously into March and April, May, all the things going on, all the student activities that way. One final thing I want to mention, all of you, coronavirus, the COVID-19. We are as prepared as we can be for that, we believe. We did send a letter out to all parents and students in the last week or so. It's also on our website. We will be following whatever the Iowa Department of Public Health or the Iowa Department of Education recommend us to do, along with the county. We want to keep all of our students safe. We want to keep all of our staff safe, and we'll do whatever it takes to do that as well as we possibly can. Just want to let everyone know, if you have questions, feel free to contact the school. Check out the information on the front page of the website, and this also on the superintendent's page. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the week. It's not quite the weekend yet. Enjoy the week. Enjoy the weather outside. It's sunny out there. Looking forward to getting out there myself in the next few minutes, hopefully. Have a great one, everyone.